let's go ahead and jump on into it. Start off with some NFL headlines. They were just breaking left after right. I kept updating the notes. I was like, come on, man. I'm trying to put the final copy on my laptop. We'll start with Ezekiel Elliott. Signs with the Patriots. 1 year, I think it was $6.5 million. Tyler, what do you think? Big Zeke, is he going to be eaten in New England?
I definitely think so. It's going to be a split backfield. It sucks. I was very high on Rhamondre Stevenson. If you've been listening and watching to this podcast, I have Rhamondre Stevenson in the top 10 of my fantasy running backs. He's ultimately going to slide all the way down. I had him at, honestly, I would have been content with him being, your lead back if you went double wide receiver to start your draft. But now I think that he's still a flex play. I do think that Ezekiel Elliott, whenever they get into the goal line, I just feel like they're going to give Ezekiel Elliott the ball. It just feels similar to what they've been running these past couple of years. Bill Belichick is one of those head coaches that just loves to run both their running backs into the ground. I think that Zeke is going to take what Damian Harris's role was. So I'm not ultimately fading him in fantasy football terms, but I am dropping him down a level whenever he's probably going to go right into that RB dead zone that starts around number 4 this year. But I would still be content taking Rhamondre Stevenson as my flex. But in football terms, I definitely think that the Patriots, they probably have one of the best 1-2 punches in the league.
Yeah, I mean, Wade and I were talking a little bit pre-show. I don't think it hurts Stevenson's volume too much. I mean, obviously it does. It's 2 running backs now. I mean, simple math. But I don't think Zeke's going to be used like the workhorse that he originally was intended to be used like in Dallas. I think it's still Stevenson's team, and then Zeke is like your third down red zone for the Patriots. It's a great move. For fantasy, it sucks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are very high on Stevenson. I know Wade loves him. I mean, he's got the Rhamondre dreads in his closet that he was going to wear on draft night because he was picking him number 1. Wade, have you changed your mind?
I'm not hitting the panic button quite yet because I would much rather this be Ezekiel Elliott than Dalvin Cook or Leonard Fournette, because Ezekiel Elliott couldn't catch a ham if you threw it at him on Thanksgiving. I mean, that's just
we
not
saw
his
that
game.
plenty of times. I'm surprised it wasn't a turkey, but I think he was always catching that. So,
but y'all know I love Ezekiel Elliott. I have taken him like 4 straight drafts in the Southern Savages League. Maybe we'll see him again this year. I don't know. But I think they can play a complementary role. And Rhamondre Stevenson was able to finish in the top 10 of running backs last year with only 5 touchdowns. So touchdowns aren't really where he's getting his points. He's getting his points from being a pass-catching running back on dump-off passes from Mac Jones. So if he's out there the majority of the time and he's still doing that, I don't think he has to rely on the touchdowns all so much. Probably why they brought in Ezekiel Elliott is because he struggled on the goal line last year, but still got the lion's share of the work. So I think this is bigger for Zeke than it is bad for Rhamondre. But I think Ezekiel Elliott's definitely worth an ad or a late draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be one of those guys that bye week you throw him in there and hope maybe he scores a touchdown, and that's how he's going to be very touchdown dependent is what I'm thinking.
And if Rhamondre gets hurt, I mean, Zeke, ultimately can become a league winner for you.
Yeah, and the Patriots had a lot of money because they didn't take a buyer's approach in the offseason, but after the draft shaked out and they saw some things going in the AFC, they decided to kind of make a run at it here, and they had $15 million in cap space to work with. So they were able to pay for Elliott here. But I think that since they brought him in so late, they can't possibly be game planning their entire offense around him.
No, I think he's your running back too, for sure. Someone that I think is going to hurts Breece Hall, that's for sure.
That's Dalvin much more significant.
Yeah, to the Jets. I think Dalvin Cook comes in, running back 1, plug him in with Aaron Rodgers, just let them do their thing. I mean, Tyler, Breece Hall was, he's coming off an ACL injury, but had a phenomenal start to the season, and people were really taking high flyers on him this time. But I think I'd pump the brakes on him this go around. What do you think?
I think I was pumping the brakes on Breece Hall anyways because he was coming off of that ACL injury, like you mentioned. But now that Dalvin Cook is in the mix, if you're talking about a split backfield, I agree with you, Wade. I think that this is a worse situation than what Rhamondre Stevenson is going to be dealing with. Dalvin Cook, he still has a lot of tank in the gas. The Minnesota Vikings, whenever he was with them last season, I think that he was one of the best fantasy running backs that you can get. So I wasn't really all that high on Breece Hall football. I know that he's, one of the elite pass catching backs in the NFL. So I would probably not even touch Breece Hall. And Dalvin Cook, that would definitely be worth a late flyer. You got to play the ADP game, and I would rather have Dalvin Cook in the later rounds.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of tank in the gas or a lot of gas in the tank. The world will never know.
Yeah.
But I think I'm taking Dalvin Cook. So, I mean, it's just like last year. He was a running back one at Minnesota. Of course, different quarterback, different kind of team situation there. But I think he fits into this offense perfectly. And if you need a running back, come pick, round 6 or 7, and he's still on the board, take him. Or wait, take him with the number 1 pick in the draft. I mean,
Oh
what
my
do you
God.
think?
Well, guys, is this a year where if you're playing in a double flex league or even a single flex league, do you take one of these committees to just guarantee yourself points if it's a productive offense like the Jets?
Just draft both of them and start them both? Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
right.
Might as well. They're both going to provide you points. You rather have that than go to like a backfield that's not really a good offense. I mean, these are two of really good offenses. The Patriots offense, Mac Jones had some question marks, I think. But, if you're on the Jets, you got Aaron Rodgers there. You got Garrett Wilson there. I mean, that is just fantasy heaven right there to have those two running backs. So, honestly, if you want to handcuff to have that both on your roster, I would definitely take them.
Because you could gamble and play, 3 guys that have 60% of the backfield for other teams. And then if all the secondary guys get touchdowns that week, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
But if you
That's true,
guarantee yourself a touchdown between the 2 of them every week, you might not be.
One of them's going to get
it. Hey, I did that with Leonard Fournette and
Ronald Jones,
Rojo
and
Leonard Fournette. I just started both of them. And said, look,
and I did it last year in Tampa.
White in their backup.
Exactly. You just throw them both in and let it roll and see what happens.
Where's Leonard gonna sign? Speaking of Leonard,
I
think Dallas.
Oh my God! Please no, not another running back that I've been hyping up. Please,
they're all gonna fall like dominoes now that the price has been set. We saw Elliott get $6 million, which was higher than any of us thought, and then that jacked up Dalvin Cook's value for sure.
Yeah. I'm actually really
like
surprised.
The Bears would be like the backfield that I would see him going in because Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, there's really not a quote unquote RB1 there. So if he really wants to be the RB1, go there. I think that Dallas definitely makes a lot of sense. It would definitely pain me because I've been talking up Tony Pollard.
I know everybody you're picking, Tyler. They're signing these running.
That's just how the NFL works.
Don't go to Dallas.
You need multiple guys that can run it, and that's part of the reason why they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
Quite as much.
I'm kind of surprised because Lenny's from New Orleans. He was always said he wanted to play for the Saints. I'm surprised he didn't take a visit down there. They just signed Darrell Williams, former LSU running back. Signed him to kind of be their third string. Robinson tore his Achilles. That's his name, right? Or is it Johnson?
Kendre Miller.
No, I'm talking about their fourth string guy. Benjamin, right? Yeah. Tore his Achilles. Miller has that little right knee sprain. Of course, Kamara is going to miss the first 3 weeks. So I like the signing of Darrell Williams. He's a hard runner, but it would have been interesting to see Lenny down there. But I don't know. You got Alvin Kamara and Leonard Fournette kind of in that because they were drafted the same year, weren't they?
Yeah, and you could get Kareem Hunt for cheaper, and he's essentially, I don't know, maybe
where's Kareem Hunt going? I mean,
I would took a visit to the Colts. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
With one of their guys going down, and Jonathan Taylor, he's expected to be back this week in fall camp, but you still don't know what you're going to get out of that offense.
I don't know if he's even going to play. I mean, he's not too happy with old Jim Irsay. But I mean, if we had a crystal ball, we'd be millionaires because we'd be making every bet and we'd be great at fantasy football. But all we can do is speculate. So if you want to hear more of our speculations, hit the little subscribe button.